Hello everyone, and welcome back to Thread and Petal. Do you have old tops lying around that are still in great condition, but feel too loose, too long, or crumpled to the point you just don't feel like wearing them anymore? Don't be so quick to toss them out or cut them up. In today's video, I'll be sharing 5 super simple sewing hacks that will revive your old clothes, all without having to snip away virtually any fabric. Stick around until the end and let me know which tip makes you want to dive right in. Tip 1. Transforming a wrinkled hem into a decorative ruched detail. First up, let's tackle that unsightly, crumpled hemline. Instead of cropping out the wrinkled fabric, let's turn it into a striking design feature for the top. Begin by stitching a continuous zigzag pattern along the hem, keeping your hand steady and your stitches even all the way to the end of the section. As you sew, pull gently on the fabric alongside the thread to create a natural ruched effect. This is the secret to turning a messy, rumpled hem into an intentional and elevated design feature. Once you reach the end, simply secure the thread with a lock stitch and snip away the excess. And here's the final result. That unsightly, crumpled hem is now completely hidden. Not only that, but the stitching creates such a charming, gathered look, giving the top a distinct focal point and a far more polished presence. Now let's try it on to see the transformation. See the difference? With just a few simple stitches, the hemline now holds its shape and looks so much more eye-catching. If you didn't know better, you'd think this was part of the shirt's original design. Would you try this trick on an old top at home? If so, let's keep going and move on to our second tip. Tip 2. Creating pleated accent. Details on an old hemline. For our second trick, we'll be crafting vertical pleats along the hem to give an old top a fresh, fashion-forward update. First, measure roughly 15 centimeters inward from the side seam along the hemline, then mark the spot. Be sure to repeat the process on the opposite side so both sides remain balanced and symmetrical. Next, run a series of evenly spaced stitches along the section you marked. Once you've finished stitching, gently draw the thread end to gather the fabric into crisp, beautiful, vertical pleats. And just like that, we're all done. The hemline is no longer plain and understated. It now features striking pleated accents. Such a minor tweak, yet it instantly gives the top a far more dynamic, designer feel. Tip 3. Tapering oversized t-shirt sleeves without cutting the fabric. Are oversized sleeves spoiling the silhouette of your favorite tee? Don't be so quick to reach for the scissors. First, mark how much you want to take in the sleeves, using the placement shown in the video as a guide. Next, fold the 2 marked points together and mark the corresponding spots on the opposite side of the sleeve. Once everything is aligned, stitch firmly along your guidelines. Now, turn the sleeve right side out. To conceal the seam you just stitched and add a stylish twist while you're at it, run a decorative horizontal stitch directly over the altered section. Repeat the exact same steps on the other sleeve. And here is the final result. The sleeves are significantly streamlined, losing that awkward, boxy fullness they had before. Better yet, the decorative stitching gives the sleeves a neat, intentional design detail. Incredible, isn't it? No cutting, no wasted fabric, yet the top fits like a glove. If you have a t-shirt with sleeves that are a little too loose, give this trick a go before taking it to a tailor. Tip 4. Altering loose tops with a vertical gathering effect. Next up is a clever technique to bring in a loose-fitting top while simultaneously adding a stunning vertical ruched accent. First, fold the hemline in half to pinpoint the exact center, then mark this spot. From your mark, draw a straight line roughly 20 centimeters upward. This guideline will map out your stitching path and keep your work precise. Next, begin making continuous zigzag stitches as shown. When you reach the end, pull the thread gently so the fabric draws together, forming a flattering vertical gather along the hem. Once you've achieved your desired cinch, tie off a securing stitch to lock it in place and snip away the thread ends. And we are all done! What was once a baggy top now features a gorgeous ruched silhouette. It sits neater, looks far more stylish, and gains a decorative focal point without a single strip of fabric being cut away. Would you ever guess a few simple stitches could transform a garment so dramatically? And now, let's move on to our final tip. One that's particularly handy if you're dealing with sleeves that are just a little too long. Tip 5. Shortening sleeves using an invisible stitch technique. If your sleeves are running too long but you don't want to cut away the fabric, this invisible stitch technique is well worth a try. First, mark your desired length adjustment across both the front and back of the sleeve. Next, draw a straight line connecting your marks. This will keep your stitching effortless and precise. Begin stitching in sequence from top to bottom, or bottom to top, keeping your stitch intervals relatively even. A small but crucial tip: don't wait until you finish the entire seam to draw the thread. Stitch a short section, then pull the thread gently so the fabric begins to gather inward. Continue stitching and repeat this process as you go. If you wait until the end to cinch the thread all at once, the fabric won't gather evenly and the process will be much harder to manage. Be patient and work section by section. You'll see the sleeve shorten before your eyes while the stitches stay virtually invisible. And here is the final reveal. Compared to the original sleeve length, you can see a noticeable shortening, yet the original fabric remains entirely intact without a single snip. It's such a simple, clean way to salvage sleeves that are too long while keeping the garment looking completely seamless. And that brings us to the end of our 5 sewing hacks to alter and refresh your wardrobe, all without cutting away a single piece of fabric. From transforming a wrinkled hem into a ruched design feature and creating delicate pleats, to tapering loose sleeves, crafting a vertical cinch, and shortening sleeves with an invisible stitch. Simple as these tricks may be, they can elevate old garments into pieces that are neater, better fitting, and effortlessly stylish. Which tip was your favorite? Leave a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 down in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to Thread and Petal, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on future sewing ideas. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. See you next time.